Hi everyone, I'm Simon Piper. I head up the EMEA team at Skai. Welcome to another episode of Retail Media Thursdays. Today we're in lovely Farnham, meeting with the Managing Director of Unicorn Orange, Ed Sweet. Hope you enjoy the conversation. Well, welcome Ed.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Good to be here.
So to start with, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm an average but avid sportsman. Everything from triathlon to golf, from tennis. I try and squeeze that in and around my work life as much as I possibly can. Besides that, I've got a daughter, Isabella. She's 1.5 years old. She keeps me on my toes.
Yep.
And in fact, she was one of the driving forces for us to be moving ourselves to Farnham as a family. And my wife and I, in fact, started the agency together, so that kind of dominates some of our evening conversations. That and obviously raising a daughter together.
No doubt. Yeah.
And so that's good fun. We moved ourselves from London to Farnham. It was a kind of a big move for us, and we moved the business with us too. And we love it. It feels like home to us now. So that's kind of a bit about us. And then me personally, again, I'm a data nerd. That's just who I am. My background was in finance. I trained initially as an accountant, and then went into banking, and I used financial modelling, that kind of thing. So that's ended up driving a lot of what we do as an agency. That and the natural marketing industry trends.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll go into that a little bit more today as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So tell us a little more about your personal peak of the week. Could be professional, could be personal, but give us an insight into what you're thinking about.
Yeah. Well, on my mind, in fact. So we're in Farnham today, and Farnham Town Football Club, as of yesterday, we're just promoted once again, 3 years running.
Congratulations! Yeah, very good.
We're sponsored of the club, and it's a team very much on the up, so that's very exciting. That plus, over the weekend, I was at a weekend away celebrating some 70th birthday parties.
Okay.
Lots of kids running around, lots of adults, and we were doing it at a castle. In fact, we were staying at a castle near Bristol for the weekend. Not
Farnham Castle, just
not
up there?
Farnham Castle.
No, okay.
No, not quite so grand as that, unfortunately, but still very nice. And so yeah, just had some nice weather and nice family time. Okay. So that's kind of what's going on in our life at the moment.
Nice, great. And then tell us a little bit about the pub that we're in. Why did you choose it?
Sure. So we're at a pub called The Castle, funny enough, and it's actually only saying it out loud now that I realise there's some overlap with my peak of the week. But so we're at The Castle. There's many pubs in Farnham that we could have actually been at, but this is one such that's dear to us folk at Unicorn Orange. We were here the year before last for our Christmas party, and set at Georgian Townhouse, right in the centre of Farnham. Some nice beers, got a nice garden. Sort of quite typical, I suppose, of some of the pubs around here, and one we come to a fair bit. So
it's a lovely spot.
Place.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well look, jumping into it, tell us a little bit more about Unicorn Orange, right? So you've been awarded multiple years in a row by Amazon in the Partner Awards, and congratulations for that, of course. But tell us a little bit more about the inspiration for the business, and in particular the name.
Yeah, so the business started in April 2020, and it was founded by my wife, Sarah. So at this time, or just before that time, in fact, my wife and I started a different business altogether. And we'd done crowdfunding to raise money to make a water bottle of sorts. And we'd selected and found a factory in China. Everything was going smoothly, and then COVID hit. Yeah. And unfortunately for us at that particular point in time, the factory never reopened. And so my wife Sarah had then already at this point left Amazon, which is where she'd been working for a number of years.
Yep.
And the job market was not especially buoyant at that particular point in time.
No, it certainly wasn't.
So she needed to, get a source of income. She and I suppose, both are, entrepreneurially minded. We'd always wanted to do something. She started, reaching out to her network, finding different people that perhaps she might better speak to try and help them with their Amazon account. It just so happened that a lot of businesses were having to pivot and move their businesses to online, that maybe have been traditionally in store, physical retail. And, one of those sort of classic examples of just, I suppose, being right place, right time, and not something that was necessarily planned, but it just kind of worked. And Sarah did a great job on a number of brands, referrals led to referrals, and suddenly she had more clients than she was able to manage herself. Mm-hmm. I'd been in the finance industry for a number of years, and envied how she was able to use data day to day to actually action things and have an immediate impact on their clients' fortunes, which was a little different to my work in finance, where things would often be planned many, many months in advance. Sometimes would be backwards looking rather than forwards looking. And I fell in love with the world of advertising. Mm-hmm. And so Sarah focused more on the marketing, I focused more on the advertising. And the business has grown from there. And within a year, we had our first employee. And now we're a team of 22. And we've got clients based around the world offering full service management, and we'll come on to talk perhaps a little bit about some of the more advanced analytics and insight approaches that we take, and we're very pleased and proud of what we have today. That's, I suppose, where we've come from. We were originally based in London for 5 years, and then we moved personally and the business to Farnham, and we're very happy here, and the business is flourishing, based here, really good staff, and really happy.
It's a great part of the world, great new home, and we've certainly seen that growth of the business over the last few years, and the journey that we've been on, or the small part that we've played in supporting or enabling some of your growth. But it's certainly been a meteoric rise.
And Skai's been a big part of that. So. Sure. We've partnered with you since, I think, at the end of our first year as an agency, which was the right moment for us to obviously then be expanding the range of advertising that we offer to our clients, and obviously making it a lot more sophisticated. And we have so many different rules in place that control the way that we bid, but the insights that we're able to drive and present to our clients has been really important to us.
So AMC, or Amazon Marketing Cloud, is becoming an ever-increasing pillar of the ecosystem. So tell me a little bit about how you see brands using it today.
Yes, brands using it or not using it. I'd probably first of all say, I think it's a very sort of complicated world that us marketeers find ourselves in right now. There's so many different tools that are at our disposal. We have obviously those magic 2 letters of AI that seem to creep into every kind of conversation in one form or another. And I think as a result, a lot of brands won't necessarily know which tool to dip in and out of, or maybe they do a little bit or maybe not at all. I think when it comes to AMC, unfortunately, many brands and agencies too will use it as a means to justify their Amazon DSP spend. And perhaps at a stretch also do some path to purchase analysis, which is often considered as at a brand level, very interesting insight as to where customers are moving. But our personal view, or our view at the company, is that it needs to be very much at the heart of all the operations that are performed, because the insights that you're able to glean from AMC are customer level, and they are so much more vast and usable than many of the more standardized reports that are available within the breadth of Amazon. However, obviously, to actually get these insights, it does require a lot of data mining, because it's hidden behind, in many cases, the wall of AMC code. And while there are things like the AI tool within AMC to help, and there are some standardized reports that you can get without needing a code, often the most...
That only gets you so far, right?
Precisely. And so from where we stand, AMC is a grossly underutilized tool, and one that every brand can benefit from, and used the right way can truly transform the operations of a business selling on Amazon.
So you mentioned something there that really resonated for me. You're talking about the requirement to code, and it can only get you so far with the templates and the basic AI that's available in AMC. But tell us more about how you as an agency team are really set up to solve for that.
So I'd say from day one, really, we've always been data focused as an agency. We were connecting APIs, we were building dashboards for our clients, but that's no longer the gold standard. We need to always keep pushing the frontiers, and we've gotten to a point now where we have a team where we have AMC coders within our midst, and so we have a data science operation which we offer as a service to our clients, which enables them to get all these deep customer level insights, and we've really built AMC at the heart of our operation such that it guides our retail, our DSP and our sponsored ad strategy. And then what we also then offer to our clients is that we can bring in first party data, and then able to tell them more about their customer off of Amazon as well as on Amazon, and then drive long-term customer value on Amazon using lookalike audiences and similar things to not just lean on that more narrow Amazon data set, but the wide data set that many brands have at their fingertips. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. And I was definitely going to ask around the first party data piece. How important do you see that being as part of delivering on the possibility of AMC?
For me, there's a few ways of thinking about it. I think by bringing first party in, you often then bring in other teams within the brand. And I think if all you ever do is to have conversations directly with either the sales team or maybe the marketing team as well, then you might be somewhat limited by the depths of the conversations that you can have. But perhaps by bringing in first party data, you engage with web teams, wider branding teams, maybe customer insights teams. And Amazon is then not always necessarily thought of as like a bolt-on, but it's an important part of the overall customer journey, and you can then use that first-party data to understand how actually maybe sometimes you're not cannibalizing your sales that maybe are coming through D2C, but in fact you're layering on top of that. And so I think first-party does a really good job of engaging with the wider brand. But on the other point as well, it really does drive Amazon sales, because if you've collected data on your customers for a number of years, hopefully, and in many cases a lot longer than that, we can then create audiences around those kinds of customers that we know to be high value. Because, let's not forget, Amazon owns so much data on the individual through all the companies that they own. And so by bringing this data in and understanding truly who that customer is, we can then understand who are those new customers that we need to be reaching. So yeah, I think it's really, really important, and for a few reasons. Though certain brands do find it difficult to bring in first-party data. There are a number of ways of doing that. The easiest of which is connecting up your customer data platform, and that's not always an easy thing to do. With certain platforms out there, you need to have a certain level of subscription, and maybe the data is stored in a certain way that doesn't make it flow directly to Amazon. So there are teething problems sometimes, but there are other ways around it, more static methods around it. So wherever possible, it'd be encouraged. But for brands that get intimidated by what's possible with AMC, it doesn't have to be done, but it's something where you can really stand apart from your peers, because not a lot of brands are doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked a little bit beforehand around connecting up retail, media, and then also DSP data within one central ecosystem. Now I know that that's easier said than done nowadays. So tell me a little bit more about where you see this going in future.
It's such an interesting one. It's one that I've spoken to so many different other agency owners about in the past as well, because it's the holy grail of advertising and marketing for brands. If you could bring all your customer data into one centralized location and understand how customers move between all these different retailers and not just retailers but media outlets, and bring it all in one place, then you could then really optimize your spend according to whatever your specific goal and KPI was at each of those stages. The reality is that all these Amazons of the world, through to D2C, and then thinking about Waitrose and Tesco, etc. in the UK, they're walled gardens. They're not going to let the data outside at a customer level. But maybe someone's got the key. Maybe someone's going to better do this, and whoever does that is going to do very well for themselves.
Absolutely.
But I mean, certainly from where we are right now, we can connect within the Amazon ecosystem, and being able to understand how customers move between sponsored ads and DSP ads, and then retail interactions, and then using things like the Amazon ad tag, how they then move with the D2C website. It is truly powerful, because you can then set your awareness, consideration and purchase and loyalty KPIs, and then optimize towards them at each of these different customer journey touch points. And that's where things get really exciting, and that's where you can really drive incremental growth, which is obviously what we're trying to do for our brands.
Yeah, absolutely. So that tees up and a very interesting topic around incrementality and impact. So how do you see this evolving in the ecosystem today?
I think the first step is that people need to understand what incrementality is. I think incrementality, measurement, these are big words that are used, again, I would say almost every event that you ever attend, and for very good reason. But unfortunately, they are often slightly misunderstood concepts. Incrementality, you're looking at the specific impact of a specific action that has happened above what would have happened otherwise. And if all you end up measuring is just the growth, but you ignore what would have otherwise have happened, then there are so many other factors at play that could have driven growth. And it becomes a bit of a vanity metric, whatever it is that you're looking at. And what you're failing, therefore, to do is to truly understand the impact of the actions that you're making. And if you don't understand that, how can you strategize? How can you understand from what's happened in the past? So for us, we take a very scientific approach when it comes to incrementality, which requires a lot more setup work. It requires different processes in which to then actually measure the results. But then you understand as much of what doesn't work as what does work, and then you can then make better decisions going forwards. And clearly, as an agency, we then do this for a lot of brands, and we can then use best practices across brands. But it's important to get this right to move forward in the right way and strategize appropriately.
Makes a lot of sense. So you mentioned something that's so important there, right? It's the setup as well. So how do you, because you do this very often with your clients, how do you overcome some of the operational challenges to getting the right infrastructure in place to allow you to test at scale?
Yes, it's a good question, because I think the very first time we did this, it took a lot of time, and obviously you start to get into the rhythm of things become more efficient. At the first stage, you need to create campaigns in the right way with the right structures. So that's having a tech partner that enables you to make those actions quickly. We obviously use Skai, and when it comes to Skai, there's bulk sheet functionality, there's duplicate campaign functionality, and we can then do this at scale quickly. Then when it comes to running the AMC, well, we have a set of code that we will then have written, which we can then use on a repeated basis to get the actual data that we want out of the experiment as we then set it up within the campaigns. And then following that, we then put that data into a Python program, which is then able to kick out the analysis that we need and run Monte Carlo test simulations with often a million different samples to then give us the results that we need to understand what percentage likelihood it was this action incremental, and then what's the median impact of that in pound amounts or dollar amounts, and then we can say yes or no as to whether that was an incremental change or not.
Okay, so amazingly, we've only just touched upon AI through this conversation, and it is, of course, the 800-pound gorilla in every room. So tell us how you see this impacting the brands that you work with across the landscape.
I don't think any role goes untouched by AI, is the first thing saying. I think anyone that thinks otherwise just probably hasn't used it enough to understand its full potential as to what it can do. I think the limiting factors with AI is often the organisations that themselves, and there's often good reason to be hesitant around AI. I mean, I think it was literally last week there was a data leak. I forget the name of the company. I think Pocket OS, I think was the name of the company, and I think they lost a lot of their infrastructure due to putting it through an AI agent that acted against the wishes of the commands that were set. So there is potential for it to go wrong. As a result, a lot of big corporations tend to stick with the likes of Copilot because it's trusted and it's safe.
Yep.
But I think everything has the potential to be disrupted by AI and be made more efficient. Whether that's always good is a separate point in case. But I think certainly when you think about the world of Amazon, the biggest one here is Rufus.
Yep.
In terms of the way that customers are finding products, it's led to the whole search process being a lot more conversation-led rather than it being much more, from a brand perspective at least, keyword-led.
Yep.
Still goes into the basics of making sure that your detail pages are optimized, but they're just optimized for conversation. So certainly for the brands that we work with, we always try and ensure that when we're writing content, that it answers those typical questions that customers are asking, more so than just understanding, what's the high traffic keyword, trying to put that in the titles in the right places, etc. It's a lot more sophisticated now. I'm thinking of it from both lenses.
Yep.
And I mean, Amazon share a lot of statistics around how conversion rates are changing for customers that are using Rufus versus those that aren't using Rufus.
Yep.
And therefore, as a brand, you really want to be making sure your products are showing within the recommendations that Rufus is making. So I think in short, AI is changing everything, not just within our industry, but yeah, I mean, it's very much in the crosshairs, so to speak, which presents as a big opportunity, but also as a risk for those brands that unfortunately choose not to kind of adopt it in its full potential.
Yeah, I agree. I think we as a business as well as not just from a platform perspective, but every single workflow we're redesigning to make sure it's central to how we approach on day-to-day conversations and everything that we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So on that note, we've touched on this a little bit. I'm interested to understand what next for Unicorn Orange. So we talked a bit about the growth of the business over the last 4 or 5 years, but tell us about where you see things going next.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken a lot about AMC, and truly that is our heart, and that is the soul of what we are trying to do here. We're trying to make very complicated things very simple for our clients in terms of decision making that they can make. So we're testing what's possible within AMC. We're building out that particular team. Our account managers are getting a lot of education around AMC as well to ensure that the regular, more day-to-day conversations are always sort of AMC-fueled.
Yep.
And we're aiming to, as a whole, position ourselves as an agency at the fore of this development. And we're already offering the service clearly and have been for some time.
Yep. But
I feel with everything that's happened over the last year, especially in Amazon, when it comes to all the new advertising opportunities that are available, it's just more important than ever to give brands the data and the insight in order for them to make these kinds of investment decisions. And by getting more brands on board with the likes of AMC, it helps us as an agency then do more when it comes to DSP, run more forms of advertising, increase our overall spend and capabilities to grow both us as an agency, but clearly our brands too. So I would say, in short, like AMC-fueled growth is what we're really focused on.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Makes a lot of sense. So just to wrap things up, I've got 5 quick-fire questions for you, just a bit of fun.
Okay.
And I'll start off with, I guess, something topical. So talk to me about Farnham versus London. What's your preference?
Farnham. At this point in life, there is absolutely no comparison. I like going for bike rides. I prefer to do that in the countryside than in traffic.
Fair.
I like being able to push a pushchair down a pavement where I don't have to bump into people the whole time. London's amazing. I love London. I love going up there every couple of weeks, but Farnham wins it for me.
Okay, got it. And then we're in one of Farnham's lovely pubs. There's some good restaurants around as well. So similarly, pubs or restaurants?
Pubs?
Yep.
As you say, there's some really good ones. There's one right round from where we live called the Bat and Ball. Beautiful outside on a sunny day. It's got, again, I'm going to start to sound very family oriented here, but kids playground. It makes it very easy for us. We can sit there, have a drink, watch our little one run around. That suits us. There are some great restaurants too, but pubs.
Okay, fair enough. And then you mentioned Farnham Football Club earlier. Farnham Rugby Club's big around here as well. Famously, Johnny Wilkinson's Farnham's most famous son. So, football, rugby, or other from a sport perspective?
It's going to be football.
Yeah?
Yeah, football for me. I do like my rugby, but I grew up as a Reading fan. Unfortunately, they sort of landed on some darker times in recent years. We did manage to get to the Premier League once upon a time. But yeah, football for me, and Farnham is my new local team.
Okay, got it. And then from a retail media perspective, there's a lot of buzzwords flying around at the moment. Is there a buzzword that you would like to put into Room 101?
Oh, incrementality.
Yeah.
Yeah, understand it, get it right. You unlock so much more information about how you should be growing as a brand going forwards. Okay,
got it. And then similarly, is there a buzzword that is coming on, right? One that is going to be front of mind for everybody over the next 2-3 years?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm going to sound a bit repetitive to what everyone else is saying, but I would say agentic AI.
Yeah.
I think, we've with some of our clients as well are really exploring this, and especially brands with investors on board, they're going to be putting pressure on reducing costs. If you can clearly adopt agentic AI and make processes more efficient and reduce your costs in various different places and develop a team of agents that are able to perform your jobs, then it's scary, but I think it's gonna just become a louder conversation. So yeah, I'd say call it agentic AI.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Wonderful. Well, Ed, thanks very much for your time today. Great conversation, thoroughly enjoyed it, and look forward to continuing the partnership moving forwards.
Absolutely. Been lovely talking, and thanks for coming to Farnham and having a chat.
My pleasure.